Hello, welcome to episode 1 of my tutorial series for Captain of Industry. I'm Icon, and this series is a step-by-step tutorial for pretty much everything the game has in store for you. We're going to start at the very basics, starting the game, setting up everything, and I'm doing my best to explain everything as easy and understandable as possible. This series is not optimized to show you the best builds, the most metagaming effective things. The goal for this series is to show you the ropes so you can optimize and bring the best builds out there. So, keep in mind the series is being made in an early access version right now. This is the release version, so 0.4 it is. So this means this series will be outdated eventually, and once it's outdated too heavily, I will give it a redo. So with that out of the way, let's get started for real. So we're going to start a new game here, and there's a couple of maps that you can select from. What's important to note is that you see here the total amount of resources that are available on the island. It's clear that every island has its own advantages and disadvantages, but we're going to stick with New Haven. That's a pretty basic and average map. You can here select any changes on that, resource size, increases, decreases, changes on the cliffs. So there's a lot of customization possible, but we're not going to go for that at this run. I'll keep everything on standard settings. The only thing I'll take the liberty of doing is I'm going to set up on an irregular difficulty because we don't want to make it ourselves too easy for a tutorial series. I'll keep the game seed on this one, so if you're looking for a play along, I'll put that also into the description box below, so go knock yourself out. So let's copy that real quick, and let's get going. So at the beginning of the game, you crash land on an island and you don't start with many resources. Right now, we're going to start on that island with the very basics. We have a handful of workers to work with, we have a handful of vehicles, and we have 2 settlements that are already connected, and they already have a food market providing for their basic needs. Our first goals will be now to set up everything in a manner that our people won't starve and we get our resources going that are absolutely important for us. Because right now, the resources we got here in the shipyard are extremely valuable, useful, but limited. The worst part here is the diesel. The diesel is necessary for all of our vehicles, but that also means once we run out of diesel before we get the technology and the actual industry up to reproduce that stuff, we're in trouble. So we got a couple of very, very urgent objectives early on. But the most urgent objective is to get enough population, to get enough food for your population. Because at the beginning of the game, we're producing literally nothing. Except for Unity, because we have people here. So you see here the food market later on will have a lot of extra foods. For starters, we're only going to live from potatoes. Pretty grim, isn't it? So the first thing we're going to build here is a research lab. So let's slap that down wherever you want to. I personally like to put them a bit out of the way because the research labs, they don't have any access right now that you need to worry about. You don't need to bring resources there. Nobody needs to go in there and back and forth regularly. So all in all, it's just something that you can set up somewhere where it's not too much in your way. Keep in mind though, the coastline here is later on important for harbors, for trade and the like. But for now, it's gonna be fine. So research. The first thing we're going to research is farming, of course. And after that, well, let's see. I think I'm going to stick with vehicles and mining after that, and then we're going to start to go into construction after that. These are the basic technologies that we're going to need to get ourselves a production of our building parts. You know, every building in this game needs construction parts. That's this white icon here. And a research lab needs 30 of these things, and pretty much everything you want to build needs these construction parts. If you run out of these before you can reproduce them, you're in trouble. You get the idea. So I'm going to set up a second lab because I personally like to have 2 labs to begin with. So while our research is being busy, we're going to set up something we're going to need later anyways. So we got those ruins here. The abandoned communication station will provide for us to begin with. Let's start recycling, and we can now loot from here iron scraps, concrete slabs, and electronics. The iron scrap can be transformed into iron plates, and until we have the mining going, this will be our major income for iron plates. Later, we're going to utilize this iron deposit here, so we're going to take that into account right away now. So let's check it out. To create iron, we're going to need a blast furnace who's going to pick up the scrap metal and transform that into fluid metal, and then the metal caster will transform that into metal plates. Since we're already aware of the fact that later down the road we're going to work with the ore here, I'm going to put the blast furnace into the vicinity of the ore deposit. I'm trying to keep myself somewhere in the vicinity of those ruins, so let's put that down here maybe. So basically I want to take care that my trucks don't have a nasty long way from the abandoned communication station, but also no nasty long way from the ore mountains, so to say. So let's go on over here to this place, and let's zoom on in and have a look-see at that. You see here, there's a lot of connectors out there. The red ones are the outputs, the green ones are the inputs. For now, we are only interested in the red ones. That's the stuff where that's the output. So we're going to make this over here a little bit more north. And you see here, let's place that down. You have here outputs. That's the molten metal. And that's just the exhaust. To get rid of that, we're going to need a, where is it at? Transports? No, here, waste management. A smokestack. Once you place it down in a way that this green icon appears, it's at the right spot. So we're also going to set up the metal caster as well. And as you see here, the metal caster has a receiver for that molten metal. So we're going to place it down like that. Go into the transports tab. You also can just press T or search for molten channel in the search bar. And now we're going to put up a molten channel just via left clicks. Connect that. Done. All right. So what's left to do here is now to make sure that the recipes being selected, iron scrap and coal, being transformed into molten iron. But wait a sec, we ain't got no coal yet. So how to make coal? It's quite simple. You put up a coal maker and you put in wood. The other method of acquiring coal is you mine it out. For starters, though, we're going to use a coal maker. Later down the road, I want to avoid making, turning wood into coal because, you know, there's lots of other things you need your wood for. And I personally take that as a starting investment, but after that, we're going to use mining. By the way, it was no coincidence that I set up my stuff over here. I want to show you. Here, when you press L or click that icon here, you get into the layers menu. So here you see now all the different things. They are color-coded, so that red stuff here is iron ore. And there's also this blue stuff, groundwater. And most importantly, that black stuff here, or no, brown stuff, that's coal. So later, we're going to do mining here, and the coal's being transported over there. But for starters, because we ain't got the technology yet, we're going to make this via the coal maker, and I'd highly recommend you to do this. Even though your wood is a valuable resource, you should not overdo it there. So we got that. This building works the same. You see there's also a red output for an exhaust, and we have to go for a smokestack here as well, otherwise the machine won't work. The last thing necessary now is we need to set up a tree harvesting designation, and let's say we're going to harvest all the trees over here. All right, let's turn on the speed again, and let's get going. So our cars now are providing the iron scraps here, but this thing can't work without the coal as well. So tree harvester has no truck assigned. You see here the tree harvester is now not able to do anything because the tree harvester is not the vehicle transporting stuff from A to B. That's just your trucks. Those trucks, you see here your total number of vehicles, 9 of 50, are the ones picking up goods and transporting them from there to there. To solve this issue, you just click the tree harvester and assign a truck by clicking this blue thingy here. And now you see that's the truck who will always try to do the jobs for this tree harvester first. But now, well, that truck is not doing anything with that wood because he's now getting that wood in, but there's no designator for that yet. But as you see here, the coal maker has been finished, the recipe here is set up, and therefore, as long as truck import and truck export here is also set on auto, the game automatically checks out, is there this good necessary somewhere? If yes, transport it there. You don't need to do anything on your own there. Pretty neat, isn't it? So now we get those trucks. Check it out. The wood one transports its wood over to the coal maker. The coal maker is making the coal now. And once that's finished, another truck will come, transport the coal over here, and then let's watch it. And our tech is being finished. Wonderful. So it sadly does seem to take a moment until they're transporting something there. I don't know why they are. Well, things do take a while. I right now don't understand why the coal is not being transported directly to our blast furnace. Let's remind them. Usually that doesn't take that long, but, well, we got other things to do. This will groove in after a short amount of time. I think now it's picking up the coal. So what we're needing to do now, they were waiting for a certain threshold, is we have to use the technology that we just finished there. So basic farming has been finished. By the way, hotkey for research is G. I don't know why, but it's just like that. And now we're talking about farming. So a farm should be placed on groundwater first off, because if not, your plants will be only getting water if there's rain, and that's nothing I would rely on too hard. So we're going to set up the farm in the vicinity of the city, and let's put that up here. A farm needs only a couple of construction parts, but 10 workers. We have up here the total amount of workers, and over here the amount of food supply. So farming is extremely important to keep our people alive. So for starters, we're just going to stick with one potato farm. I'll keep an eye out on this bar here meanwhile. If this stays red, I need to increase the production. If not, it's all fine. Since farms take up so much, so many workers, I strongly recommend you to keep that on a minimum. So, as you see here, the potatoes need water and fertility, and now they are waiting for water or rain. So, I'm not sure how the soil water level really impacts that. I have never tried out to grow soil outside of groundwater. It could also be the case that groundwater is only necessary for the water extraction. I must say I never took the research to do so. It always struck me only as a logical thing to build the potatoes on water, but I'd be happy if somebody could give me some research on that, because I have the strong assumption that I'm wrong about this, and this is only necessary for groundwater extraction, but feel free to enlighten me on that. So, we got this, we got that. What's now on our list here is we're researching vehicles and mining. But to get that mining going, we're going to need a couple of extra things first. So we're going to take care first of a completely different thing, and that's waste. Our cities are generating waste. And, you know, waste is something you shouldn't have in your city. Therefore, the smokestack doesn't help. No. What you're needing here is the waste collection spot. This goes right next to on one of these green spots here. Let's put that down here. And it produces, this is where the waste of your city gets collected. But you don't want to store it here forever. This place only has storage, a maximum storage capacity, and therefore you need to tell your cars where they can dump that. This is where the dumping designation comes into play. So this dumping designation thing allows you to designate some space where your cars can dump whatever loose cargo they have. There are two different types of cargo in this game, loose or three. Loose, solids, and liquids, but so far the biggest difference is between loose and solid. Loose is everything that's terrain, or if I think that's what the game calls loose. But if you go for mining, you change the terrain, and also pollution, so to say, generates terrain. Trash that you need to put somewhere. And that goes like this. We're going to set up a little bit of a trash heap in front of the harbor because, you know, industry attracts dirt. You go here, and now you see that ramp and plus O2. That means this piece of ramp elevates the ground by O2, whatever, meters, units. Let's call it units. There's down here lots of different tools. So when I press F, I change this into a flat thing. And when I press F again, I change that into a ramp again. I can also press E and Q to heighten or lower this. And this is the tool that we use for all manner of different terrain sculpting. Right now, our goal is to set up a area where we can create ourselves a little bit of a mountain. So we're setting up one piece of the ramp here. And now if I mouse over and connect to that place, you see now it's O2. Now it's O3. The game automatically builds those ramps on for you by just connecting to that. So we don't want to put up a ramp endlessly. So let's stop that, press F, and now we see that we're on this flat thingy. So you see already, it connects to this, and now if we keep connecting these thingies there now like that, we're placing down a blueprint for a trash pile. Not too glorious, but somebody has to do. So what'll happen now is you see that green tile? This is where your trucks will start, and the yellow ones is where your trucks will go on. And that's all we need to do for now. So this little construction here provides all the room our trucks will need to store the trash at. And as you see here, this dude is already on his way. And now he's building that. And your trucks will now, bit by bit, construct this mountain of dirt until there's no more space left. And then it'll go until this thing here is full. And once that's full, you're off to build a new trash mountain. Luckily, there's trash processing technologies later down the road, so we're not worried. We don't need to worry about that endlessly. Okay, so we got things going. We got the blast furnace running, as you see here now. We got this recipe rolling, and with the mining technology, we also unlocked a new recipe. Iron ore plus coal turns into molten iron, and slag. Slag is a new side product that we're going to need to handle later down the road as well. But for now, all we want to do is to worry about nothing further. We're not going to endeavor into mining now. Simple reason for that, we're going to cannibalize the advanced communication station for now, but we're going to set up the infrastructure for the mining later. We're not going to participate into mining right now, because that would be indeed a waste of resource, but I'm going to set up a vehicles depot. We're going to need that, because no vehicles depot, no excavator, no mining, and we're also going to set up a mine control tower here. The mine control tower is what's going to be used to designate the mining area. But we'll just place that down for now and leave it like there because we won't need that for the time being. So the construction tech is almost done, and that's going to be where we're going to spend our time next. So let's wait a moment. You see here there's Unity gain. Unity is being first and foremostly used for research labs. You see here they consume this portion of the Unity we produce, so you can transform your Unity into research, or you can use Unity to do all manner of different boosts to your machines. So you can boost machines here to increase the throughput of these if you ever need some product more desperately and the like. Another thing that I want to go for here is I want to set up another mine control tower here next to the coal mine because, you know, we want to shut off the coal maker as quick as possible. Now then, what's next? We got the construction tech. That's fine, but let's also set up the trading dock tech, the power and maintenance tech, and the basic diesel tech, and the concrete production tech into the queue. These are extremely important things that we need to rush as quickly as possible, because otherwise we'll be running out of resources to work with. The construction technology opened up for us the assembly, and at the assembly we can construct construction parts. So our shortage of building material is henceforth almost over. Why almost? Because construction parts need concrete slabs. And concrete slabs are, right now, only available out of the abandoned communication station. Luckily, we have 700 of those, but in the long run, this won't cut it for us. But, nevertheless, we're going to start up now and get ourselves one assembly. You see the assembly needs 4 workers. Luckily, we got some workers still. And it also has these input and output icons. These are, while you're still working with vehicles, almost redundant. Because this is only necessary once you work with conveyor belts. I can't wait to work with conveyor belts, but right now all our logistics is being done with trucks, and therefore all these input and output things don't matter too much, except for machines like these where you can connect the liquids output. The assembler, though, will be totally operated by trucks. But the good part about that is we finally have a place to produce construction parts at. This is also the first thing where I'm going to produce a storage for. If I find it. This construction menu keeps confusing me. I don't know how it's for you guys, but for me it surely is. Or wait a sec, we don't have the tech for that yet. So now you see iron, wood, concrete slab, so we're getting the job done. Also, our farm is working out just nicely, and we're producing stuff even without water here. I'm not sure how this all interacts with each other. I tried my best to understand it. The only thing I did understand after all was I did get out food even though it didn't rain or you get the idea. That's one spot where I would love to get some enlightenment from the community because, you know, I might know my way around a lot of things here already, but a couple of things still elude me. So we have researched now the trading dock technology. With a trading dock, we can trade with a neighboring village. That's not too interesting as of yet. The unit storage is what I'm after. It's not that super important, but it always gives me a good feeling to set up a storage building where I'm going to store my construction parts at. So the next technology we're unlocking is power and maintenance. Power and maintenance is also very, very important. This unlocks the maintenance depot, the diesel generator, and the production of maintenance. The diesel generator transforms diesel into electricity, and the maintenance depot transforms mechanical parts and electronics into maintenance. If you don't have maintenance, your buildings will break down from time to time. At the beginning of the game, this ain't too important, so we're not going to worry too much about that. The last thing I want to do for today's episode is I want to set up some mining here on the coal end. So we're going to build ourselves a small excavator. As a matter of fact, I think we're going to build ourselves two of them, but not yet. So here's one thing. The excavator needs vehicle parts. You only start with 120 of these, and producing vehicle parts is pretty hard to start with. We'll need iron, mechanical parts, and electronics, and these are, again, quite limited goods. Mechanical parts we can produce to no end, but electronics are being made out of rubber and copper, and these materials, well, we do have a small stockpile here in the shipyard, but that's a very finite thing. So, let's get on up with the mine control tower. I want to edit the area because I'm not happy with that. I want that the area of the mine control tower is mostly filling up this mountain here. So, we're assigning a vehicle here, but the truck has no compatible excavator, so we're working on that, game. So chill out. So now we're doing the quite opposite of what we did before. While we brought up with the dumping designation some place where we're building up stuff, the mining designation works the exact opposite way around. So we're now trying to get ourselves a ramp downstairs. So rotate it until the ramp is is facing into the mountain, and then you just set it on up like that. And just like that, we're creating ourselves a ramp downstairs. So it's working the same like the positive dump. The yellow ones here will be treated first, and then the other stuff comes afterwards. So we're now waiting for the excavator to be done. And we're going to shut off the coal maker right now. Because like I said, wood is a resource I like to use for other stuff. Most importantly, wood is necessary for construction parts. And since we're so far not able to reproduce wood, I'd rather be careful with that. So the small excavator needs to be assigned to the mine control tower just like the truck. And now what's happening is that little dude is driving on up there. And I'll be duplicating that farm. So let's put on the groundwater table, press C or click that icon here, and I'll copy myself that farm. I'm a little bit paranoid, and I just don't want to get ambushed by the food needs at some point, and therefore I'll reserve those workers right away. It's not that much of a biggie. So truck cannot deliver coal. No valid destination. That's not entirely true. He will start delivering that once there's a place here yet again. But you can also do another fun thing here. So we can now tell our truck that he's also allowed to dump coal here. So let's do this. We're going to disallow waste dumping here. Very, very important. You don't want that. Otherwise, your dirt trucks will do that. And now you can just designate a dumping. Whoops. A little bit of a dumping thingy there. And what will happen now is that your car here will start to dump down the coal here. And as a matter of fact, you could mine that coal yet again as well. Funny enough, if you check this out, the dumping designation and the mining designation, they're both alive. Why? This is because the game this way makes sure that the stuff that gets dumped on here will be used for other methods as well. So this way you can keep your machines busy. Right now, I bet that there's no transport happening between the blast furnace and this one, because the blast furnace is super well fed with coal right now, so it doesn't need any coal for the time being. So our potato production is going bonkers now, of course, because we are just producing way too much of that. And we're also going to set up that unit storage now to store construction parts. Forgot that. Let's just copy that one more time. Fast forward a tiny bit. The unit storages are useful in that regard, that with these you can convince your assembly to keep working. And as you see here now, the first truck there drove with its load over there to the blast furnace. Also check out here that this thing here is excavating not only coal but also dirt. And it's pretty important that you allow your machines to pluck away the stuff they don't need. Because as a matter of fact, for example here, I chose a bad spot. So what to do, what to fix? You just eliminate that. And you gotta make sure that your mining happens on the spots where you actually want to mine. So here the overlay helps you a lot by doing so. We're going to correct that, of course, and plow down here. So this way your mining ops will be productive. And this way we're going to be able to provide coal for our business there. And you see here now we're digging out coal and not dirt. But don't you worry, dirt is also a good stuff. We're going to work out with dirt as well. But for the time being, that's that. I think that's enough for episode 1. In episode 2, we're going to start and cover the diesel and the concrete production. Right now, you might have wondered why this research is taking so long. These tiers here give you an impression about how many research points are necessary to get the job done. Sadly, we get no exact readout in this version as of yet, but as a rule of thumb, the higher the number, the more research points are necessary. But diesel tech is for me so dang important that I want to start out as quick as possible with that, because once we run out of diesel, everything goes wrong. Okay, friends, so next episode, diesel production. I hope we're also going to get to the concrete production, and beyond that, well, let's see what we're going to do there. So I hope you guys enjoyed this series. I am certainly enjoying this a lot, and feel free to drop me your comments down below if there's anything where you want to ask another question, or if you feel like there's something to add. Feel free to do so. This series is meant to be an expansive thing, and therefore I can use your help as well. Leave me a thumbs up, and of course consider subscribing, and check out the description box below. There's a link to my Twitch channel where I stream quite regularly, and also you can find my Discord channel where I do a lot of hanging out and chatting. Also, we have fine players there. And beyond that, also feel free to check out the other links. I'd be super happy about any form of support. Thank you so much for watching this video to this point where I start advertising and asking things of you. I really appreciate your time. I hope you're having a wonderful day. See you soon, and I hope next episode will be fun for you as well. Bye-bye.